My brother opened the leather folder he'd paid thousands for, ready to expose me as the family screw-up once and for all, only for his face to drain white as he read the words. Current occupation, CTO. Net worth, 7 figures. He wanted to destroy me. Instead, he handed me the greatest revenge I never had to plan. If you've ever been underestimated, if someone ever looked you in the eye and told you that you'd never be enough, hit that like button. Subscribe for more true stories of justice with the sharpest possible edge. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because this one's going global. Let's begin. My name is Harper Cole. I'm 32 years old. And for most of my life, my family saw me as the kid who never lived up to the prodigy sitting at the head of every table, my older brother, the golden boy. To them, I was the disappointment, the dropout, the girl who worked retail while he saved lives in a pristine white coat. And for years, I let them believe it. I didn't correct them when they assumed I'd failed out of college. I didn't correct them when they said I was just getting by at a big box store. I didn't even correct them when they whispered, "Thank God our son turned out right." Because it didn't matter. While they were polishing his trophies, I was quietly building the thing that would change my life forever, a cybersecurity platform called Sentinel Loop. I worked nights, coded until my vision blurred, raised seed rounds while sleeping on an air mattress, and eventually sold the company for 8 figures. But they never knew, because I wanted to see how long they'd cling to the story where I was the failure. Turns out the answer was all the way until the night everything exploded. My family invited me to dinner to reconnect. Translation: another night of praising my brother while patting my head like a lost puppy. When I arrived, he made a show of it. Oh wow, Harper made it. Must have gotten the day off from folding clothes. Laughter. Everyone except me. I let it slide. I always did. But something in the air felt off, like static. Then a man walked in. Dark blazer, leather folder. And my stomach sank. I recognized him. Daniel Price, a private investigator who once shared a community college lab with me.
He remembered me.
But I didn't yet understand why he was here. Then my brother stood up and tapped his glass. The room quieted. My pulse hammered. And he continued. My dad's jaw dropped. You hired a PI to investigate your sister? My brother didn't even flinch. A lie so rehearsed it sounded like he believed it. He grabbed the first page of the report, eager, almost trembling, to humiliate me. Then he started reading. A pause. A long, suffocating, unbelievable pause. His voice cracked. My skin prickled. Current occupation: Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of Sentinel Loop. My parents' heads snapped toward me. My brother blinked, shook the page like something would rearrange itself. Then, forks froze midair. My mother gasped. My father uttered, "Is this real?" And my brother looked like someone had taken his entire identity, crushed it in their fist, and sprinkled it over the $200 stakes. This can't be right, he stammered. She's been lying. She let us think she was a failure. He flipped through the pages frantically, desperate to find dirt.
Debt?
Dropouts? Mistakes? Anything to maintain the story where he was the star and I was the cautionary tale. But all he found was what he never expected: my success, my autonomy, everything he didn't know how to cope with. I spoke calmly. My father turned on him. You invaded her privacy. How could you? My brother exploded. Because you always worried about her. I thought if I showed you how she'd messed up. Messed up how? I snapped. By surviving without your approval? My voice shook with years of swallowed words. You didn't want to protect me. You wanted to punish me for not staying beneath you. Daniel cleared his throat. Your son told me he planned to confront her publicly, he said flatly. Not to help. To humiliate. A hush fell over the room, so heavy it had gravity. My brother pointed at him like a drowning man grabbing a rope that wasn't there. I paid you. And I told the truth, Daniel replied. Jealousy dressed as concern is still jealousy. My mother cried quietly. My father whispered, We didn't know. And that was the knife. You didn't want to know, I said. Anytime I succeeded, you twisted it until it became about him. Anytime he snapped, you called it stress. Then I looked directly at my brother. You weaponized my life to make yourself feel safe on a pedestal you didn't even want. He flinched. For once, he had nothing to say. So I tore the report cleanly in half. You wanted proof? Here it is. I'm not your disappointment. I never was. I just stopped playing the role you gave me. And I walked out. Out of the glass box they'd kept me in for 32 years. Out of their narrative. Out of the version of myself I had long outgrown. My phone buzzed with desperate calls on the way back to my hotel. I ignored everyone, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't asking for permission to exist. 3 days later, his consequences arrived. He'd paid the investigator with a hospital business account. Finance flagged it.
Compliance dragged him in.
A formal note on his record. Boundary issues. Mandatory leave. Then his fiancée found the debt he'd taken out. She moved back home. He tried to ruin me. He ruined himself instead. I returned to Austin. My life, my real life, grew even bigger. Investors. Engineers. A payout that felt unreal. A nonprofit idea forming quietly in the back of my mind. And silence from my family until my sister, Madison, called. Not to scold me. To save us. She arranged a family therapy session. And in that room, separated by screens and decades of resentment, we broke open the truth. My brother admitted jealousy. My parents admitted fear. I admitted exhaustion. Roles shattered. For the first time, we met each other without costumes. My brother started therapy. Stopped posting perfect life photos. Volunteered at clinics. Showed up for people who'd never seen him as anything but human. My parents learned about golden child syndrome and stopped comparing us like 2 items on a menu.
And I
built Boundary Conditions, a nonprofit giving digital security training to kids who had nobody protecting their online lives. My brother asked if he could help. Not as a hero, as a volunteer. He stacked chairs, did paperwork, really listened to parents who needed help. We rebuilt trust like a system patch, one careful piece at a time. A year later, I stood on a stage in San Francisco giving a talk. Boundary Conditions. What family systems taught me about cybersecurity? In the front row sat my entire family, quiet, humbled, learning. I told the story in broad strokes. Not to shame them, to illuminate the truth. It was in my family story about who I was allowed to be. When I finished, my father hugged me. I'm proud of you, he said.
No caveats. No comparisons.
My mother cried. Madison rolled her eyes because she'd heard me rehearse the talk 12 times. And my brother, he looked me in the eyes and said, but I'm becoming someone who never would have done it in the first place. I believed him, not blindly, but enough to keep trying. Families love their narratives. Golden child, disappointment,
Peacemaker.
but they're just roles. You get to rewrite yours, just like I did. If this story hit you anywhere deep, if you've ever been underestimated, mislabeled, or shoved into a role you never chose, hit that like button. Subscribe for more true stories where justice isn't just served, it's engineered. And tell me in the comments, what role did your family assign you, and who are you choosing to be now?